MAME phase.
Hello, I figured it was time for a third MAME stream in April, as I've been trying to get the streaming setup working properly again, and the previous two streams have had a few issues with either bit rate or just general settings and smoothness of the video. So this is attempt number 3, and we'll see if things are any better this time or if anything needs further adjustments. Unfortunately, that is kind of what happens when you lose all your streaming settings and have to try and work out what you were using before. So, hey Aussie Guy and hey Filippo, welcome. I hope you're both doing well and thank you for joining in the chat so early. The game we're going to start with is a Taito GNet game, Super Puzzle Bobble. So, I mean, I think most people are going to be familiar with the Puzzle Bobble series. And this was the entry on PlayStation type hardware, which adds a few new features and effects. And probably not the most famous entry in the series, but yeah, it's Puzzle Bobble. And we'll have a little play of it. And hey, Scout711, welcome too. I hope you're doing well. I think you've been chatting away in my Discord earlier and asking about Homebrew on various platforms, if I'm getting the name correct there from the conversation we had a little bit ago. So, we've got an early donation, a rather large one here from MAME Fan, a $50 one. That's quite a lot of money, MAME Fan. Are you sure about that? Should come up with the thing soon. So yeah, no, that's very generous of you, MAME Fan. That will be put towards, well, buying a bunch of stuff for emulation purposes, I think, because I have been buying those. I don't know where my notification is. I've not changed those, but if it doesn't pop up, I do still very much appreciate that. You sure? Okay, thank you. I mean, I say if anybody makes donations they're not sure about, I think they can be refunded. But thank you. I know you're one of the sort of long-term viewers, and you've got your own channel where you do your sort of hidden gems and everything like that. So yeah, this one's probably not a hidden gem, but it's still a decent entry in a popular series. So no artifacts so far, no stuttering or anything, because I think the stuttering problem was because I was running MAME on a screen which didn't match the OBS recording rate, because for some reason one of my monitors doesn't quite get the right frequencies. It's more like 59.97, not 60, and OBS hates that. So yeah, I've swapped that over to a different screen, so I'm hoping that's helping too. No stutter. Yeah, this is the screen I had it when I was streaming before, and I didn't realise the other stream had the other screen had a bit of weirdness to it. So yeah, I'm hoping that's resolved that problem I was having last time, because I was looking at the video from yesterday, and that some of those shoot 'em ups just they weren't very smooth. I think YouTube wants 60 frames a second. Maybe YouTube can be more flexible, but OBS is set to 60 frames a second. So when the screen MAME is running on isn't set to the same frequency, it just ends up, I think, trying to convert it in different places and getting very confused. So I'm hoping that's resolved that. I mean, this isn't a game with heavy scrolling, so it might not be as obvious, but we'll see as we go. I just wanted to start with something nice and simple, and I do like a good puzzle game. I've never seen this. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen any GNet games in person. I mean, it did receive a world release. I mean, this is a world revision of the game. But no, I guess it was kind of from the time when arcades were starting to die down a bit. And a lot of the games are puzzle games, which aren't maybe your traditional ones that many of the bigger arcades or popular locations got in, because they wanted their driving games and shooting games. Yeah, okay, thank you for the feedback so far. And likewise, if the volume levels are ever significantly off, let me know too, because it's very difficult for me to judge that. I have made sure to turn down the speakers a bit this time, which should avoid the echo issue we had before, because again, it's a bit warm for headphones today. Don't want big sweaty headphones over my ears, so I have to find a bit of a compromise there. Arcade game volumes tend to be all over the place, unfortunately, because it's not a single platform. Different cabinets, just different volumes expected, different levels and everything. So a bit of fine tuning is needed every time you play anything. Come on. I'm not getting the pieces I want here. Up a little bit. Nope. Bounced that the wrong way. Press F to pay respect for CPU. I mean, the CPU is probably not struggling. We should be alright, I think. A nice beefy CPU in this machine, thankfully. Anyway, so no, I don't know where my notification is, main fan, unless you've done it a different way or there's nothing set up for that tier. Because I would have expected the coin detected in pocket for that donation. However, that's something I'll have to look into. You may have uncovered another issue, or maybe Streamlabs is just not working at the moment, and I'll get it later. I don't know, but anyway, greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'll put it towards some of the things I've been buying. No, they're not really arcade related, but some of these plug and plays and some like Tamagotchi type toys and things like that. But I will be looking at trying to get emulated at some point. So. It all helps. But anyway, I didn't really show you much new in that. I think the puzzle part of this game has got more than new elements, as you can see in the demo here. But the versus mode is, you know, your traditional puzzle bobble. You see the bitmate. I think I've got it set to constant bitrate this time, so it's not even going to fluctuate. Whereas before I was trying to do it variable, but it's saying no drops frames. 15,000 kbps, so we're looking okay, I would say. Anyway, that was a bit of super puzzle bobble. Now I'm going to go for something maybe a little less expected. I was just talking about plug and play devices. This is one that's just been added. Technically it's marked as not working because the controls, I'm not sure about the controls, but this surprised me. This is a Kamen rider, a Masked Rider plug and play. And it's from Bandai in 2002, and I opened it up and found inside it was using a Megadrive clone chip. So yeah, this is on Megadrive hardware. In fact, the ROM itself is just a Megadrive ROM. You can boot it up in Megadrive, a Megadrive emulator, which is really strange, but it's a custom piece of software for this unit, which is kind of neat. So yeah, it's not the most challenging thing when you've not got to use the motion controls and wave your arms around punching everything. In fact, it seems to respond to precisely 3 buttons. Left goes along the menu, right seems to select things, and up is punch. So yeah, you can select which character you want, I think. So we'll select that one, right to select. Yeah, I should probably rename Megadrive RAD to just Megadrive Plug and Play. It's originally named that because it was created for the Radica units. But yeah, the enemies here will attack you. And now this is a full 4 megabyte size cartridge. So, you know, 32 megabit. But yeah, it's because I can just keep hitting up, which is the punch motion. The enemies really don't stand a chance when I'm playing on keyboard. So there we go, I've won a fight. Yeah, I've been using VBR just in case, you know, it would just so it helped with some of the, in case other people were using the internet and some of the lower bandwidth games might have worked better if I'm not using the, don't need the full bandwidth. But when I'm doing the CRT filters and the like, I think CBR probably works better. But yeah, so I've won the first fight, and you kind of see that that's just how the rest of the game goes. But yeah, this was a Megadrive ROM, and the last thing I expected to see in, you know, a plug and play, licensed plug and play from Bandai, it's a plug and play, was a Megadrive ROM. So yeah, when they do that, you just have to hit punch quickly enough to knock them back. So yeah, Bandai, for an official licensed Masked Rider, Kamen Rider plug and play, used the same Megadrive clone chips you find in various bootleg Megadrives. It was 2002, so this was before there was like Sunplus technology, so they couldn't have used Sunplus, and I guess they didn't want to use any of the sort of NES derived ones. They wanted the better graphics. So a logical choice maybe, but there's no mention of Sega or anything like that on the box. It's just one of the clone chipsets. So we will play through this because it is ridiculously easy. But you get to see it. But yeah, it's just up to punch. I couldn't really work out how to play it on the real hardware. I think the motion control is broken, so I'm not quite sure how these inputs relate to the real unit, which is why this is still marked as not working in MAME, because I don't really know if the mapping is correct. But yeah, it's not exactly difficult when you can just keep pressing up to punch. If you're trying to do the motion all the time, it's a bit more effort. Yeah, you could probably just put this on a Megadrive cartridge, and I imagine it would run it. Even just the this TMSS security rights and everything else. It's programmed purely as a Megadrive ROM. Strangely enough, I mean it's a little rough in the programming, but you can see where the entire ROM capacity has been used on all these large animated graphics, which I mean, they're not the worst. I think that the video timing is a little off in the programming of the game, because you do sometimes get those partial tile effects, but that was the same on the real hardware. But yeah, usual plug and play hardware. In Japan, the Zavix stuff was really popular for a long time. You didn't see much Sunplus at first. Then, like I said, Zavix was sort of, well, the first Zavix is technically 1999, although that's some weird VTech thing. But from 1999 until about 2003-4, Zavix was definitely the most popular in Japan. You didn't really start to see the Sunplus chips until maybe 2005 anyway, so the Zavix stuff predates that. And after that, you did start to see Japan use them a bit, but not as much, because they were still using Zavix 2 and the Super Zavix and a few others. But eventually, Japan's pretty much switched over to the various Sunplus chips too. Although there were some plug and plays in Japan on the SPG 2XX, like the Epoch Tetris one, and a few Bandai ones. Before that, there were some on the SH6578, which is a bit like a NES clone, but it's not NES compatible. Japan never really seemed to use the what they call it, the VTO3 and everything else. I don't know. Maybe Japan just didn't like the fact that they were bootleg NES, basically, with more colour modes. But yeah, you didn't really see those in Japan. Outside of Japan, the early techs, a lot of them are sort of NES on a chip clones. A lot of them, unfortunately, seem to be single CPU, single MCU solutions where we can't dump the ROM, which is the problem for the 2003 SpongeBob and 2003 Namco, and maybe a few others. And there are a few outside of Japan using VT technology and all sorts of things like that. And of course those ELAM ones, which seem to be, I mean, I don't know what the ELAM ones are actually called. We just know that ELAM made the CPU in the devices. But those seem to have been used mostly outside of Japan, not in Japan. Again, they seem like very rough, cheap options. The Zavix, yeah, I think the Super Zavix might even be clocked at twice that. I think it's more like 40 something, which is kind of ridiculous. But then, even if you look at the later VT chips, the VT3 series, like 349, and the VT1682, they do have a sub CPU which is similar. They've got the secondary 6502, and those is clocked at about 21 megahertz as well. And the developers never really made good use of it. Most of the time, it's just being used as a sort of to play sampled sounds back. But yeah, those other VT chips do have also a really fast 6502, because I guess by that point it was cheap enough to do that. Oh, look, the mystery enemy. Now, I don't know any of these characters. I don't really follow the series or anything else. I just thought it was quite nice that to have this plug and play, which, say, surprisingly turned out to be just Megadrive hardware. But yeah, those later VT chips, they're the ones you find in pretty much all the really low end things these days. A lot of the well, even a lot of the bootleg NES multi-game units are using those later VT chips, where you get the NES games with higher resolutions or more colours and things like that. Oh look, we get a little animation at the end, and that's it. Congratulations, I've played through the game with that character. Let me go back to the title screen. I mean, you do have this other menu where I can play all these animations. I don't know if I had to unlock these by completing the game, but there we go, you see. I can just play the ones I want to play. But again, let's say this is where all the ROM space seems to have gone in this. Unfortunately, I believe you've now seen basically all this unit has to offer. If you had the real unit, yeah, you get a bit of a workout if you were waving your arms around and punching. But in terms of emulation, what's the last option? Is it something? Enter a code? I don't know. Anyway, that is this this plug and play. It's technically marked as not working in MAME at the moment, but maybe if I just change these up, left, right, up buttons to ABC and just call it a 3-button game, I could promote it, because I think those are the only inputs it has. It's quite a simple device, but still an interesting curiosity, and say absolutely not what I was expecting when I bought the unit. So yeah, you find new things all the time, and I say it's the first time I've seen Megadrive hardware used in Japan outside of the VER.A devices themselves, which are clearly marked as by Sega. So what shall we go now? Where shall we go now? Here we go. Let's go with something that feels like it should be on a plug and play, but it's actually an arcade game. How many stages? Just the number I played, so was it about 8 or 10 or something like that? But they're all pretty simple. Anyway, this is Tower and Shaft, which is on Alex 64 hardware, which is a Nintendo 64. It's one of the few in the driver that is kind of playable. I'm not saying it's very good, but yeah, by Aruse Corp. So yeah, now this is an arcade release. It does feel a lot like the games found on plug and play units. Fourth story apparently. So what do you do? Well, you hold the button, like the one single button, you climb up the platforms. So yeah. Yeah, this one is low resolution and entirely 2D, so it does run at full speed. The ones that use the interlace modes, because MAME's trying to render twice as many pixels, do not run at full speed. 3D games don't. Star Soldier does a lot of the time. It's just when it gets a bit busy, it drops down. But this thing, yeah. But, you know, you find these drop-down levels, climb up tower things, and all sorts of plug and plays. So to see it as an arcade game is a bit strange to me. Yes, but this one runs at full speed. In fact, I think if I unthrottle it, it's more like 150%. Definitely the least demanding of the Alex 64 games. And kind of playable. This is your thing. It actually seems a fair bit easier than a lot of the ones you'd find on the plug and play units too. You see things like this in modern arcades as well, often out tickets, and kind of getting unfair after a while. It does feel a bit like a waste of the hardware, yes, I would agree. But, most things on Alex 64 feel like a waste of the hardware. Considering, you know, you've got an N64, mostly like 2D games and very bad puzzle games and Mahjong games and the Gauss Panic clone that I really can't play on strict stream because, well, it's unsuitable in every way. On that 11-beat soccer game, which again is like, why? I don't know if this is 100% working. Just figured to show it because it clearly is playable. Quite a few of these Alex 64 games also have ROMs that I don't think even get used in the current emulations, so that's kind of confusing. But yeah, just climb the tower. with one button. I mean, it must be a low maintenance machine because, well, there's not as much to fail with only one button. Your joystick's not going to go bad. It's a case of does the button work or does the button not work? I think, did I set the easy mode with 70 floors? I'm struggling now. There we go. Right, if you fall off the bottom you lose a life, as is the case with all games of this type. No, I was actually quite surprised this ran at full speed. I thought I'd tried it a while back and it didn't, but there have been some recompiler optimizations in MAME, so maybe some of them have just pushed it over the edge so it does. That was close. Or maybe it always has and I just didn't realise. One of the puzzle games is meant to be, I think, low resolution in-game, but the resolution switch doesn't work in MAME properly and you lose half the screen. So I couldn't really play that one to show you. That seems close to full speed too. Oh dear. There we go. I have a feather, which I think gives me one extra chance. Yeah, I guess it is. I think it was popular on mobile and stuff like that, wasn't it? This type of concept, and it's another case of let's try and bring this sort of mobile flash game that people are playing these days into the arcades and see if it does well there. Plus, I think as mostly a gambling game company anyway, so they probably just went for simple things. You're kind of surprised this doesn't seem to be a ticket payout or a gambling game. It's just a very simple puzzle game. But you look at some of the other things in the driver, they just look like, even if they're puzzle games, they look like slot machines. Whereas this, yeah, this is more like a simple flash mobile game. Some decent presentation elements. I would agree that, yeah, it's kind of a waste of N64 hardware. Anyway, there you go. A Ruse Corp, that's the one, isn't it? A Ruse. I always get their name a bit mixed up. Ultron. Yes. Yeah, they did, I believe, buy up some of SNK. Aussie guy has mentioned it before, and I think it was. I don't know quite how much they bought or how long they owned it for, but I think there was some involvement there in that story. Aussie guy has mentioned it before, and I'm sure could mention it again if asked. Anyway, yeah, that is Tower and Shaft. I mean, this is Tower. I guess that one of the other games must be Shaft, actually. So is that what the menu option is here? It's all in Japanese. So yeah, if I select Shaft, there we go. Let's see. So yeah, it's probably worth showing this actually, because this is the upside down version. This is where you actually need the joystick. In fact, in this case, it's a joystick game. You don't use a button door. So the cabinet must have had the joystick on it as well for this part. Because you're not jumping here, you are falling. So the joystick goes completely unused in one mode, button goes completely unused in the other mode. So they do have to maintain two. I did forget that this didn't involve the button. It does involve the joystick instead. Going forward on certain things. My life is running out. So yeah, there is this mode too. That is why it's called Tower and Shaft. It has both, and again, this is exactly the type of thing you find on Plug and Play. Oh, I fell off the bottom. And I lose 12 floors at the bad look of that. Yes. So again, it's 70 floor mode. And also, I guess they'd seen the popularity Namco had with sort of System 10 stuff and Mr. Driller, and maybe they thought, let's do our own little puzzle platform. not sure. I was not there for the meetings that resulted in these things existing. I think yeah, some of the spiky clouds and things kill you. Don't want to be on those because you do have live meetings. I keep landing on them. Oh, the spider web gets stuck. Of course it does. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the presentation's there. It's just in terms of gameplay, they're a bit simple, although they do seem to have multiple difficulties. So if you master the 70 floor one, you can select the 100 floor one. No worse things to play. It's just I think I've seen this concept so many times on the plug and plays. I'm a little bit fed up with it. It's one of those games as well that you see reskinned all the time. It's like it's the same game with different character, this character, that character, and it's too simple to really hold my attention for any great length of time. But I thought it was worth showing that it does run in MAME, and if you want to play an arcade version of it with decent presentation and you've got a reasonable CPU, you can do. I mean, this 143% I'm getting from throttle this on this machine, so there's a bit of room for it to not have to be the latest CPUs. Right, what shall we do now? Okay, this one takes a little while to boot, and I may not have suitable controls, but let's find out. Let's do Kart Duel. Yes, you could be excused for thinking this is doing nothing because it takes that long to boot, but it will eventually boot. There we go. Namco. So, bit of Kart Duel. Yeah, they bought SNK in 2008. Playmore bought it back. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. I just couldn't remember exactly when and who and what. It was very messy at the time. But yeah. I don't know why. Why didn't they keep SNK? Well, I don't know. You would have thought they would want to hold on to the SNK IP a bit more. But maybe they just got offered they couldn't refuse, or I don't know. Anyway, Kart Duel. I don't know. I think I did play this briefly offline, and I thought it was okay. So nothing special, just okay. So yes, let's go for a time trial. Of course, shall we do? I might not have any control. I might not have any steering calibrated on this, based on. The steering's not calibrated. I may have to go into the menu and calibrate the steering. Yeah, I think I might have to do that. All I can do is drive around in a circle. Right. How do I do that? The internal battery is dead. That's good to know. Select switches. I've done this before. How to finish it? I don't know if this is correct or not. Right, this may work now, I don't know. But we will find out. Right, let's see if it works now. The internal emulated battery is dead, indeed. Which probably means it's not going to save things properly. However, let's see if I can actually control it now. I do prefer it when games are pre-calibrated in MAME. It saves hassle like that, but now, can I race, or will I be going straight around in circles? Nope, it's not saved it. There is a way to get this to save. If I can't remember this soon, then or is it this way? Keep hand on push service switch. Sorry about this. Does it... I know this is playable because I played it before. Right, let's try again. Unless it's broken at some point since then. Oh, this is looking better. I hope. Oh, there we go. So race on the cart. There we go. Yes, it's kart racing, so you accelerate and stop very quickly. The cornering is very sharp. I don't think there's another view. I could be wrong. But yes, you want kart racing on very short circuits, then sure, this is fine. There's a race mode too that I didn't select. I mean, it's not gonna blow your mind. I guess it's probably made for a very specific audience. Maybe they wanted to sell these to actual, go-karting centres. I'm not sure. It seems like a kind of niche product when compared to Namco's better-known, larger-scale races. And don't drive on the grass, that's bad. Some Rally X signs there. In fact, it's typical Namco in the sense that everything is covered in adverts for their own games. So yeah, up, select, down, select. There's not many controls. First out of 100. Even gives me a little map of how I did. Oh, that's not right. Maybe there's a linked option. I'm not sure. Can't say I've ever seen one. I really get end credits just for that. I don't think I need them. What's your step? So it was a sort of full size, well not full size, but at least a custom cabinet where you'd sit in the cart because you got the sign there saying, get out the cart. So we can select race. At least it's not final lap. I mean, if you say final lap too often, you might just summon a cow. So we can have the speed gainer. And now we can say we have other carts to race against. But this one, I think it might be network because I seem to remember one of the issues with it, with the emulation before, was in part some sort of communication issue, and the second part of the issue was the previous dump was bad, so a redump ROM and some sort of fixed status, maybe loopback type thing, is what got it working. So in that case, yeah, it probably does have some sort of link option. I don't know, so I've never seen one. I'm assuming it's quite uncommon. It's decent enough sense of speed, and the tight cornering does make it feel different to other races. If you play, is it the Gran Turismo games that have got kart mode in as well? A few racing games have kart tracks, and they do feel sort of similar in the sense that you're just dealing with much sharper turns, much quicker stop times and acceleration. No cows, no. At least not yet. No Nam cows. Oh, I finished fourth. I didn't think I was doing too badly. Clearly I was. I mean, there are other tracks. I think if I'm in this mode, though, I don't get to choose my track. The time trial mode, you get to choose your track when you want, whichever one you want to play on. I did play Imago again off stream and didn't manage to break it, so I still don't know how I managed that on the stream last time. I see. There are more than 4 cars. So it's... Ooh, oh dear. Well, that's not... How many cars are there? I'm 9th now. Okay, I'm not going to manage this, am I? I believe I'm meant to get better with practice. That's definitely not happening. Yeah, it's kind of basic. That's why I'm wondering if it was just for a very specific market. I mean, Namco usually go a bit harder on the presentation, although this was developed by, I think, Gaps, it says in the attract mode. Is it Gaps? I don't mind it. It does feel just more like it should have been an older sprite scaler. Not really got the depth or anything you'd expect. Yeah, I finished 9th. I managed to finish 4th last time. So let's see if we can select a different track on the time trial mode. I don't wish to insert 1 coin to continue. Developed for Gaps. They also did Flame Gunner. Flame Gunner's more of a game though. I mean, Flame Gunner's a bit messy, but I kind of like it. I don't mind this. Oh yeah, there we go. Gaps. Bit of FMV. So it's 2 coins to start, 1 coin to continue. Cheeky. So we can select time trial again, and in this case, yeah, there's the other carts, other tracks. So select the expert track. Just on a cow hunt. I doubt there are any cows, but you never know. It's just a more difficult track. No, they don't seem to be locations that suit cows. So is the bitrate looking okay with this game too? Because this is a bit faster moving in 3D. Yeah. Maybe also with a steering wheel this would be better. I'm trying this on keyboard, which is not great for any racing game. Bitrate's good, excellent. It's got Galaxian 3 adverts in this one. I think you could probably go through this game and see how many other Namco games are advertised, because there must be a lot. Is that Alpine, one of the Alpine games there? All sorts. Namco did do that quite a lot though. Of course, PacMan. Is that Ridge Racer? I'm sure I saw a prop cycle earlier too. Right. So, we're going to make it. Probably not for driving like this. Oh, just. Yeah, there's a prop cycle one. And PacMan Xevious. I missed the Xevious. But yeah, I do like the way it draws the line you took around the little course diagram at the bottom there. That's a nice touch. You don't see that very often. But yeah, Kart Duel. This was promoted to working in MAME last year, I think. So if you've not been following too closely, you may have missed it. I don't think I streamed it before. But yeah, if you want to play it, you do have to go through the calibration thing, which, as you can see, is not always obvious. Maybe it's not saving it properly because of that battery is dead message, so maybe it might be something you have to do every time. But if you go through that process, the game is playable. And if you want a kart racer, which, I mean, there weren't that many arcade kart racers, this may be the game. Is that the cabin it look like? Maybe. I'm not sure. Just lots of photos. I'm gonna guess they let the staff just go out on some karting days to get a bit of practice to program the game based on those photos. But I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Get out the kart again. Mind your step. Okay, let's switch over to something different. Let's switch over to non-arcade. Let's have a look at the Super Cassette Vision and a little game called Star Speeder, which I have to say, this looks far better if you stretch the screen to vertical, but it's not meant to be vertical because it's with TV. Anyway, yeah, this saw some improvements last year. Of note, the speech and stuff like that. Yeah, the Super Cassette Vision speech has improved lately. But yeah, bit of speech there. I'm assuming you're just meant to go as fast as possible and dodge things. I don't really know much about the gameplay. You can fire stuff sometimes. You don't want to hit the sides. But yeah, this is quite nice for the Super Cassette Vision, to be fair. And the speech wasn't emulated before. But that was a sort of one of the custom CPUs with its own instruction set and everything else. So yeah, it's taken a lot of work to get this into this state. Not work from me, but it's work I noticed happening last year. And it's got a good sense of speed. I don't really know what the down thing is. Is it like a smart bomb? It just makes the screen flash and makes you go faster momentarily. Also a bit of a Tempest look with the blue lines, although Tempest isn't moving. Go in. There we go. No, the Super Cassette Vision, it's not actually a bad piece of hardware. And the emulation in MAME is quite a bit better for more than just this. I don't remember what the hardware was on the Super Cassette Vision actually either. Race 2. Okay, let's go. I'd assume it's tile-based, but I really don't know. It's not one I've studied. Yes. So I don't understand the point in that pressing down. Makes the screen flash. Is it like just a quick boost of speed in case you crash? Limited in the number of times you can use it? I have no idea. It'd be nice if it wasn't quite such a lawnmower sound. But, yeah. Oh, missed. That hits my speed right down. Momentarily, I can't speed up either. Yeah, I hit down there and I suddenly get that boost of speed. I think I can only do that occasionally. So I've got to do the track in under 2 minutes basically. Feel like I'm doing okay. I mean, it's a home system game, it's not an arcade that's going to ramp up the difficulty immediately, is it? Sprites. I mean, the Cassette Vision itself was basically sprites, so maybe they stuck with a similar design. I still need to revisit that Cassette Vision driver and see if I can get it emulated a bit better. Yeah, it might be a bit unusual then, the hardware. Again, I've not really studied it. Try the next race on the fantasy course. So we will do that. Are you ready? The speech is actually really good as well. It's better than you'd expect. So yeah, I can believe it's user sprites then, just based on, you know, the cassette vision itself. So yeah. I'll probably, even if I win this race, I will probably end the game though, because I mean it's nice to see, but I don't want to be spending too long on this one. The star effect's good too. Where they sort of rotate around. It's not rotating with the track, but it gives something else to look at. A bit more sense of movement. Yeah, I can shoot. Look, I just shot that one off the track. I think you only have limited shots though. It's more. I mean, it's speed race, so it's more about completing the track in time rather than blasting enemies. And if you hit the side like that, you lose all your speed. Again, I can press it down and go past. Yeah, I am impressed by how quickly it moves. You see a lot of these older games, and they don't always have this sense of speed. You can look at some other old stuff on old systems that's far more primitive than this. Yes, it's a busy screen. There we go, goal in already. Be a good Busconian port with the speech. Yeah, that I think it could do Busconian well. The quality's there. But anyway, try the next race. No, I'll be okay. I don't need to race another track. But anyway, yes. There we go. Yes, Star Speeder for the Super Cassette Vision. It's not a bad little game, and it's definitely better in MAME now than it used to be. But, okay. Have a look at another recent edition. It's the quiz game with general knowledge questions that I have no ideas of the answer to. So it's one of those UK pub quiz machines, and my knowledge of TV trivia, old bands and things like that is not great, so expect me to fail quite badly. I only play this for about 5 minutes, if that. However, it's called Brainbox 2, and yeah, any of these that show up is a good thing because most of them have been scrapped or just destroyed, you know, otherwise just destroyed from neglect at this point. So the categories are not very varied there, but at least we do have some questions. And yeah, at least it's not in Japanese. You can tell it's very British. I think it's one of those where you will win money if you get enough questions right. Yeah, reach the prize game, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, most of these have just gone. Either say they were recorded and just recycled, or left to rot in pubs and destroyed that way. So you don't see many of them. And there are probably still quite a lot of these undumped quiz games and question sets for them out there. So, nice to see this one dumped. I mean, somebody's going to have to dump Vertexa first for a minute, and there is no complete dump of it. The only dump of it is bad, the ROM's all half size, and that was never added to MAME because it's useless. Anyway, put in some coins. You can't emulate what there's no ROM for. Right, so what are the inputs? No, that's not the most useful input. I have no idea at this point. Go. Oh, that's clearly the wrong button. And I've broken the game. This is the problem with these gambling games. If you accidentally end up pressing the wrong thing, you can break them quite badly. So, don't want the door. Don't. Yeah, let's just not have those keys mapped. Okay, that'll do. No idea. You can win that one. Also no idea. This is how these go. I don't know anything about these. Aren't things I know. Some vendors converted these to proper games. Yeah, gambling games tend to have different separate inputs for all the different coins. So I mean, who had a number? No idea. Never even heard of the series. Just you have to really know. And there we go. Try again when you're sober. This would, I mean, this is it's basically an arcade PCB. You might find it in some arcades, but these were typically found in pubs. But in the UK, yeah, you might find it alongside some arcade machines. Which of these is the largest? Not that one. That one. I have no idea. I don't. So yeah, I don't know the answer to most of these general knowledge questions because they're a bit before I had any interest in these things. And I can't really pick a category of questions I like because they're all just I'd say not that one, not that one, not that one probably. There we go. I compare this. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh. I'm not going to get to the bonus round, am I? So, no, I'm just randomly pressing the buttons because, yeah, this is general knowledge of things a bit before my time of not of any interest to me. Okay. You would have thought I would have got more right just by randomly guessing. Anyway, that is Brainbox 2. Clearly, I do not have much of a brain for these general knowledge questions, which I really don't like quiz machines. My knowledge is more specific than general actors and dates and names and politicians and music. Yeah. Even for bands I like, I don't always remember the names of people, and I don't really study everybody's backgrounds to know the answer to that kind of question. But that was Brainbox 2, which, say, has been dumped and works, and I will never play it again because it is of no interest whatsoever to me. Right, this is an interesting one. There are two sets of this fantasy story game but dumped. They had different sound hardware, but both seem to have protection picks driving the sound, and neither of the protection picks is dumped. So I don't know why one has twice as much sound hardware as the other. It is technically marked as not working because we didn't get the sound up and running. But these are unbelievably Semicom. Everything about them feels like they're Semicom or somehow related to Semicom. Except they're not. But it just feels like sort of Hyper PacMan engine. Except we can pick up a sword and walk over here and attack some enemies with it. So it's weird. Yeah, without sound, you are going to miss various audio cues. I mean, even that bomb in the middle there. This is so Hyper PacMan. Walk through the wall and get the bomb and watch the level explode. It's like, what? What is this? Oh, look, it's a teleporter. And you pick the stars up to finish the level. And the way the stage clear comes on is exactly like Semicom games. So I don't know if this was ex-Semicom staff or is being hacked up from Semicom games or quite what the story is. But yeah, it's shame it's weird that both PCBs were different and had different sound hardware, and like as if one's missing half the sound hardware, even though it was not. It just seems to have been stripped down to weaker hardware. It's annoying that we'll probably not get the pick dump, so we can't really emulate the sound. And it's equally annoying that both are different, so even if we get one dumped, it's not guaranteed to work with the other. But yeah, this is a weird one. Oh, now we can break some walls. Woo. And also it's just not actually much fun. Let's go for the thief, or yeah. It feels. I mean, I'd much rather play Semicom's Mr. Kicker on Hyperstone hardware than this very weird thing. So I don't know how to go over those. Maybe there's a secret door. Yeah, it runs on. Yeah, it's in the ESD driver, but it's got, say, the extra protection and stuff like that. I mean, there's a wall I could walk through there. I was probably going to get the bomb first, though. Just yeah, another one here. That doesn't even damage those. What's the point in this? I just have to follow them around. Again, I say this a lot in these streams, but some games don't really feel like they're meant to be arcade games. And this is one of them. It just gets PacMan-y shit hard, but the ideas in it are a bit too weird. It's not. It just doesn't feel that. It doesn't feel like a good fit. It's too close to PacMan without being PacMan. And the pacing is, I don't know. You get all these characters, and then you get this, select this, and that is but then it's so slow paced. There's so little to do in each level. It's just like a few enemies and these stars, and then at the moment they can't even fire anything. So, what's going on? Yeah, the hidden gaps are just the same as in the Semicom games. This just feels like, say, Hyper PacMan or Mr. Kicker or Twinkle or any of those Semicom maze games, but kind of stripped of the fun. Maybe I'm missing something. But they've stabbed on the floor and continue again. I mean, the settings might be wrong. I might to have more lives. But I have to get the weapon to be able to use the weapon. And that's just to have a basic attack. Otherwise I'm collecting the odd star, moving very slowly, and not having much fun. Especially not without sound. I start up here, do I? Oh, okay, I can walk through these walls. Yeah. So apparently... There's probably some live dip switches. I don't really know. It's not much fun. It just feels like a weirdly hacked up Semicom game by Zsoft. And the other sets, I think, is basically the same, just say different sound hardware apparently. Yeah, Seraphina's a good one, Aussie guy. I mean, that could technically be promoted to working without sound, but I'd just rather wait for the sound MCU to be dumped one day, if it ever is, which it probably never will be. So while we're on that theme, there was also this one I've shown before, which also feels like bootleg Semicom. This is by KI Soft, or K1 Soft, even. You can see this is also clearly the Semicom engine and the Semicom music. We can play as right. You can see just the same sort of presentation as the game we just played. The same hidden view thing. Doesn't really show me how to get into the TNT area. There we go. Oh look, the thing's exploded in the same way, so... Are you telling me that these things aren't all in some way connected? Because I think they must be. When is Gauss Panic 2 coming? When somebody is interested in emulating it, which might be never. Nobody's working on Gauss Panic 2, so the current estimate is it's never going to be emulated. If somebody works on it, then that might change, but nobody's looking at it. So yeah, this is just weird. I've already got the weapon. Yeah, you've even got the sort of force spikes in this too. It's just much kinder. So you see what I mean about the fantasy game? Just feeling like it's got all these elements from these games. And this in turn is not actually credited to Semicom, but is very clearly still the same game engine. So what is the actual connection between them all? And yeah, this has also got Snow Brothers on it, completely licensed. Oh yeah, this happened last time I played this as well. The sound died. I'm going to have to look into that, because I'm pretty sure that didn't used to happen. So yeah, that was something I'd got on my to-do list. I don't know why the sound has died. Very much died last time I played this too, so I'm going to have to look into that. Look, I can jump now. Still sort of works, but it's also kind of dead. Oh look, a teleport, just like the other one. So yeah, that's definitely a bug that I should probably put on MAME testers. The sound in this just dies. And I'm going to have to go back and see when it started dying, because I'm sure I used to play this game without the sound just dying after several levels. Or the music at least. It's weird that the Z80 is clearly still running, because it's still responding to some jump effects. But it's just... what is it doing? Anyway. Enough of that. That was just for demonstration purposes. But yes, that is still broken and that needs attention. Okay. Right. I mentioned in the last stream that the SNS Power competition had been running. I'm going to look at PacMan. But let's also have a look at the shoot 'em up. This is Lunar Skirmish. This is another one of the entries for SMS Power. I think does this come in second place? I know it wasn't the winner. But yeah, this is a shoot 'em up on the Master System. So nice little animated intro. Well, no, not animated. Nice little static screen intro with various pictures. Well drawn. You don't always see it on the Master System. I mean, sometimes you do, but a lot of games have kind of minimal presentation. So it's nice to see, especially with the Homebrew, that they've put in a bit of effort on the presentation and a bit of a story. Oh yeah, a bit more speech there too. So I'm running this on the POW system because I think it's got a bit less slowdown that way. It's on easy, okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a very new game. Very Konami-like wave at the start there. Outpod. Gives me a bit more speed. The bullets are a little hard to see. That was one thing I did notice with this. They do flash, but with all the stars around, you can easily lose the bullets. And yes, don't be in the way of those shots. Did I manage to shoot that down in time? I won't shoot that one? Probably not. Do I want another power up? Yes, I've got that option. I'll do. But yes, nicely presented this one, I have to say. Bit gradius-y. Oh, see there's shots coming towards me there. And it is one of those where if you lose your weapons, you lose your power, you're going to struggle, because you do really need this first speed up. Your initial speed is way too slow. Bit of sprite flicker, but again, you kind of expect that on the Master System. It does not have the best sprite capacity. These are all timed, so you know exactly when they're going to fire. Oh, shoot that. Good life. So there's a bit of slowdown. But, I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary. There we go. Another asteroid field. And are we going to get boss? Oh no, we just got a bit downward scrolling. Down to a natural landscape. Some nice parallax. This guy again. Came back, did you? Now with a few extra things to avoid at the same time. And off he goes again. Yeah, I mean, I think the firing rate is kind of limited by the number of sprites you can display, because say the Master System can't display that many per line, so you don't want to allow the player to fire too quickly. It's a case of trying to balance it to work with the hardware. That's why you can't really do a bullet hell on the Master System, because you'd run out of sprites very quickly. Oh, alert, alert. Okay. A bit of a boss coming up. Bit slow down again. Yeah, that's something I want to keep out of the way of. But yeah, let's say this is a homebrew competition entry. There's the SMS powered competition every year, and the higher up entries tend to always be impressive. I mean, it's how we got the Bruce Lee port and things like that, which was also excellent. Yeah, sprite boss. Level finished. Yeah, it looks good for a Master System game. I mean, you're not going to avoid the flicker because it's a Master System. When you're working within the confines of the platform, you don't always expect Master System games to look quite this good or this colourful. You'd struggle to see, say, a NES pulling this many colours off. The Master System had quite a lot going for it. Just especially in America, it didn't really get the credit it deserved. Now, this is suddenly very tight and very difficult. I'm doing better than I expected, though. Oh, different pattern. Okay. Okay. I need it respawn, but now I have no power-ups. I'm super slow. And that is one of the problems with this. It just suffers from that. Oh, look. Well, I've got my speed up back at least, but you respawn with nothing. And respawning with nothing is not what you want. That's given me most stuff back quite quickly in this instance, but I might shoot those. Yeah, oops. It is more like an MS62 game, I would agree with you there. Yeah, and as I say, not even the competition winner. The competition winner is... That was stupid. I think the competition winner was this Yokai Ninja game. Oh, I thought it was out loud. That was silly. Yokai Ninja, which I may look at in a future stream, but I'm not going to be looking at that now. But there we go. That was a new game for you all. And say, go and check out the SMS Power competition. If you fancy doing some Master System Homebrew, they do run the competition every year, so it's a good one to have a little look at. Anyway, what shall we do now? Let's close that. Take that off my list. Take that off my list too. Right, let's look at that one. Okay, let's look at a game that I'm not sure about. This is Linky Pipe from ERA. Hey, look, we can set it up plus 12 now on the volume. This might be needed. So, a puzzle game, a drop piece puzzle game. Right. Where the first enemy is called crap. But yeah, it's kind of terrible. I'm not gonna lie. You just have to make very basic. You can only rotate one of the pieces that is dropping. It's super confusing. Yeah. I've never quite got this. Well, I can clear a piece out. You're forced to clear a piece out if you don't want to. It doesn't matter. Yes. Clear that piece out. Time over. I lost. Yeah, the Hyperstone. I don't think it's running too quickly, but it just not good. Well, I mean, the puzzle design itself is not good. Let's not pretend that the puzzle itself would be better if it wasn't so fast. There we go. You know, I did a big pipe, but is there any real strategy here? Maybe. I just don't know it. It feels like they had an idea, and that was it. You see, this time I win. And straight to round 2. Again, this is why it feels like it's a little bit fast. Now against ping. I'll have to get rid of that piece. And even that, oh, you can get rid of a piece now thing feels so incredibly forced because you literally have to get rid of a piece. It's not like, oh, you can if you want. It's like, no, you will get rid of a piece. The water is, I mean, the water just seems to depend on the number. I think this is running twice as fast as it should. Even that countdown thing seemed too fast. So maybe if you had a bit more time to think, it would be okay. But I don't know. I've never played the PCB, but you barely have time to think about what you're doing. It doesn't seem well built for making chains of any kind. Just the way you can only rotate one of the bits you've got. I mean, if you could switch between them and rotate either, I don't. Unless there is a button to rotate the other bit, I don't know. But no, it looks like they're rotating both bits there, doesn't it? What? Okay, let me try that again. Does the other button rotate the other half? Yes, it does. Okay, you can rotate both halves with the different buttons. I thought you'd only rotate the one with the square around it. No, you can rotate both with the different buttons. Okay, that gives you a bit more strategy. That's fair. I mean, it's still really confusing. But why put a square around one of them? I guess to show it's the first one. I don't know. When you call your first enemy and computer opponent crap, I don't know what to think. And I still think it's running too fast. I don't think the countdown should be that fast. Yeah, I'm going to guess the whole game is running at twice the speed it should be. I think there's something wrong with the Hyperstone timers or something like that. Because it's not the only Hyperstone game where things seem off. I mean, if I fire up Raccoon World, I mean, if you want to tell me what's going on here. Look how fast that's flickering. Look how fast that's flashing. Look at these sprite animations. Are you telling me this is running at the right speed? Are you telling me anything here is correct? Because this seems ridiculous. I swear these run at the wrong speed. Again, look how fast that counter. I pressed the button once and it went down about 5 numbers. So I think there is something wrong with the ELF emulation. Either within the Hyperstone CPU or the driver, maybe missing V blank flags or something like that, or H blank flags, because yeah, some of these games are a little bit hyperactive, not very playable. So we won't play them. I just thought Linky Pipe was an odd one because it's at least I now know that you can rotate both parts of the pipe, but again, I don't think it works properly. I think it's running far too fast. Okay, let's have a look at one that really doesn't stream very well with CRT filters especially. This is Kangaroo. This did receive some bug fixes last year, I think, to the protection, which should improve the item randomization so it's not quite as easy and scores are now more comparable to real hardware. This is a Sun Electronics platformer. It doesn't always look great on stream with filters because the game itself uses a weird scanline effect to produce darker looking graphics. That didn't work out very well for me. So if you combine the scanline effects, it tends to look a bit ugly. And yes, this is rather primitive hardware, hence why you see things disappearing behind other things. It's probably a game that really shouldn't have succeeded at all, but Atari licensed it for. Oh, why am I trying to punch baby Kangaroo? Atari licensed it for the US, so a lot of people did play this in the US, even if it feels very, very janky. But yes, see, I think it's one sprite on any area of the screen, which is why you get boxes around the sprites when you go close to things. But here, I think we ring the bell, don't we? Oh, I got hit by Apple. So we go one step at a time. The sprite flicker is just how the game is. Let's say it's kind of primitive hardware. Definitely not as advanced as some of the other hardware on the market at the time. Even games like Nintendo's Popeye, the sprite hardware is kind of limited and can only draw one sprite in the area of the screen. And this is, I mean, it's not similar hardware, but it's a similar problem. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I can see why people enjoyed it. But it does feel dated. Well, which is one. Anyway. I know it says I can punch the monkeys there. I'm not sure if that's useful. In fact, I don't really understand the strategy for this level. It's also on the 2600. Yeah, I guess that's a result of Atari licensing it, Mr. Fungi. Yeah, Funky Fish, I think, doesn't really show the limitations of the hardware quite as much. But, I mean, it's quite obvious they wanted to make it a Donkey Kong style game here, so we ended up with this. And it's not terrible. The character is rather cute. And the animations, and the fact you can punch. In fact, mechanically, it feels maybe a bit better than Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong just feels very stiff, and I've never been the biggest fan of it. But hardware-wise, it just feel a bit rough. So let's see if we can get it there. Maybe the Donkey Kong got a bit more variation in the gameplay, though. I mean, this stage and the first stage are essentially the same things with different platform layouts. That other stage, I can't actually remember what you do on it. Oh, I actually got to climb the ladder. That's better. Yeah, it is a little bit so. And that just makes it look like I'm just meant to punch the monkeys and lower the cage that way, but then more monkeys appear, so I guess I have to punch more monkeys. Yeah. I don't quite get it. Or more like I've forgotten. As soon as I get rid of one, more of these pesky monkeys. Oh yeah, and I can't touch the monkeys, can I? Yeah, I can't remember how to play that level. But yeah, that's a bit of Kangaroo. It does work better in MAME now than it used to. So if you played it before and it didn't feel quite like the arcade in terms of difficulty, it's worth giving another shot to, because there was a fix last year to the protection handling. It's fun enough. But we will move on, because I'm probably just going to get stuck at that same stage every now and again. Every time I play it, until I actually look it up and work out how it's meant to be done. Okay. Let's go with N-Sub from Sega. I think there's a bug report open on MAME testers about this one, isn't there? About it freezing at some point. But yeah, I think it's one of your very early sort of it's like multi-dimensional Space Invaders. You've got things to contend with at the top and the bottom. So you've got your ships up there that you can launch your torpedoes towards to dodge things that are falling down. Dodge those depth charges. You've also got ships down here to fire at if they appear. Yeah, a bit of an N-Sub. Is this the one that there's a MAME testers issue open for, where it just locks up at some point? Or was that a different Sega one? I think it was this one. Yeah, and the colour bands do give a good idea of depth with this one. Because otherwise it's just a simple black and white type game. I think it uses a custom video board for the background gradients. But yeah, otherwise it's a very simple game with kind of rough movement, because I mean this is very weak hardware, this Victual hardware. I seem to recall it's there's no tarmac viewer. I'm not even sure this is proper sprite based hardware. I think it might be mostly tiles. Maybe entirely tiles. Which is why things, again, vanish when anything else is near them. You see when the torpedoes go near the water line vanishes, because I think it's all just tiles. I mean, it's not bad for what you can do with just tiles. Yeah, 6th stage freeze. That's an odd one. I mean, maybe it's a delayed protection read. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming it's not just the game's broken. And there's more than one set, I believe, so... Definitely needs a bit of investigation. I suppose nobody really plays this game that much to have encountered it until now. Not one of Sega's better known titles. Yeah, for 1980, it's possible this was looking a little bit dated even then. And the gradient's nice, but the industry was moving quite quickly at this point in time. And this is a fairly basic game. And it gets hard. I mean, I'm not very good at it anyways. I mean, the slow movement and the lack of time you really get to see things, because it's all tile-based, you don't really see the missiles until they're outside of the area of the ships that's firing them, and it does make it quite tricky to play. It could have benefited from sprites, and so you get one frame of movement once they're next to you. But yeah, that's a bit of end sub. I just thought I'd show it, because I think there were some emulation improvements. In fact, I think the gradient stuff might be recently added, because last time I played this, I'm pretty sure it didn't have the gradient enabled, and it was just black and white. So I think that might have been done recently. Yeah, a few systems don't have sprites. It's surprising. I mean, when they don't need them, fair enough, but there are cases where the games would have really benefited from them, and they just don't have them. And this, I think, is one of them, but again, it's 1980, and it's a very simple piece of hardware. Anyway, what time are we on? We are 1.5 hours in. I think this will be about a 2-hour stream, because it's kind of warm here. Let's play a shooter I don't really know how to play. That's always a good idea, isn't it? Back to GNet. So, oh yeah, Yamato had the day and night cycle implemented. That's probably one I should look at again. An Aussie guy, maybe not today, but I should note that one down for a future stream. Yeah, back to a shooter on GNet. Now this is a bit weird actually, because there's two sets of this. There's a set with a later date, but an earlier version number that's some sort of internal build. But this is the released game as far as we know. So all Japanese, because there's no English set dumped of this. In fact, there's probably no English set anyway. So yeah, some nice presentation. And this did appear on the home systems as well, I believe. So one isn't it the one that ended up on the home systems with some very silly names? So yeah, let's play as you. How to play? Shoot. I'm not going to learn much from that. I'm just going to shoot things. I think the banding might be slightly wrong in MAME. I'm not sure though. You do say that a little bit on some of the PlayStation games. Okay. So I can move this thing around and okay, play things. I don't really understand it though. Chicken giant teddy bears. I guess I meant to only use that on bigger things because it seems like a waste. Probably not on this. Maybe on this. And that worked. I mean, GNet's one of the later PlayStation hardware revisions, so a bit more powerful than your base. Okay. No use on this? I picked the hardest character. Oh well. I'll have fun with the hardest character. It's not really a shooter I play. I think I did have something like this on the Dreamcast, and I never really played there either. Oh, what did it hit? I really wasn't paying enough attention there. I just wanted to play a shooter for a little bit. Again, just to see how it looks on the stream when I look at the recording again later. Because that's sort of the point here. Is there anything right there? No, no point. Oh. I don't know. Seems a bit pointless. So I can't do anything. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Just shoot you? But does anybody know what the differences are in that other revision of this, the clone? Because it is quite an odd one, with it being saying giving a lower version of a later date. I don't know if they've made any significant changes. Yeah, I mean, some of the later PlayStation stuff does have quite fancy graphics. Yeah, I think these bands should be smoother, the ones you can very visibly see now. I think that might be a main flaw. Although I could be wrong. Just when I've seen hardware videos, it's not been as obvious. So I picked the hardest character, so I'm going to choose a different character this time. Bitrate struggles with the lasers. Interesting. So, not much you can do about that. I think this is pretty much the maximum YouTube's going to accept. In fact, it did just say there's been a few dropped frames, which is interesting. So that, I wonder if that's the lasers or the just the connection, because it's actually on constant bitrate, so it should not be fluctuating. I mean, obviously, if I really want to try messing with bandwidth, I can just find games with nice TV static effects, like PacMan for the Megadrive. That's a good way to make sure your encoding just goes straight to hell. So this one is okay. That homes in. Okay. It does it. I don't really understand the mechanics on this. I have to be quite honest. You're going to fight the teddy bear, yeah. You fight everything on Earth. Bear. But I just move more slowly in that time. Okay, so you do have to be individual. It's interesting because I only went straight for the head when I attacked this. This character obviously moving more slowly. Doing that, yeah. Yeah, you can find a lot of games you would otherwise be unaware of through MAME. Again, it's same with not just the arcade games, but the plug and play stuff. Well, you know, that's been a complete rabbit hole for me, and finding all these Japanese systems I would have been completely unaware of before. It's just been fun. I mean, I'm still finding new ones today that I wasn't aware of when I started, so this is completely ineffective against the boss, it would appear. Or at least at that point. At this point, it's quite effective. I don't know. Do I just have to dodge it this time? Did I die? Oh, I died. Really clever. Let me just shoot that. I mean, it did say I dropped a few frames at some point, but yeah. Okay, so there are limits to this. I'm actually surprised. I thought with a vertical game it wouldn't be hitting it because less of the screen is moving in the first place. Just keep it in mind, but again, I can't really tune it much further. So, yeah, oh yeah, you change red when you know the bullets. Yeah, that's one of the mechanics that's in it. One of those with some sort of bullet grazing. So I'm assuming if I know a bullet, my shots are more powerful, but that's a risk-reward type thing. If I run into the enemies, I'm just stupid. Yeah, if you're careful enough and you control your movements enough, I guess you do want to be close to the bullets. Seem quite useless at this point. Ooh, nope. Anyway, yeah, PlayStation 1 based. I mean, brick game emulation. There's so many different brick game platforms. There's no like one piece of brick game hardware. It's they've evolved over time. So there's probably like 50 different platforms brick games run on. So I don't know what you mean by complete really, because you can probably complete the emulation of maybe one or two of the platforms, but there are still so many that nobody even knows how to dump yet. There's say all the newer ones. I mean, you can still buy brick game hardware now. There's brand new ones coming out with a current year copyright date on that probably run on even newer hardware. So I'm sure some of them can be improved, but it's a far bigger field of emulation than even I realised it would be at the time. I mean, like, you asked me about 2 years ago, I would have assumed that all brick games were on the same hardware and it's just been the same thing that's been cloned over time and time again. But they're not. There's all sorts of ones on all sorts of different MCUs. It's kind of fascinating, but also actually a bit scary, because so many we can't deal with. Okay, let's have a look at a racing game that doesn't quite work properly. Well, it does sort of work. I don't know. A racing game that surprises me that it's still glitchy in MAME. I've played before. This is Taito's Racing Beat on Taito Z hardware, which is, say, the same sort of platform as Chase HQ, and a platform you'd assume is kind of well emulated at this point, but no, it's not. So you've got gas brake, pit in, and shifter. So, yeah, this game on Taito Z with weird graphical issues. Yeah, some of the brick sound is hardwired. So again, it's a different part of the ROM inside the chips. So, I mean, some of these CPUs have specific opcodes that actually just play a hard-coded sound from inside the ROM glob, CPU glob. So yeah, this has a weird line in front of the car where the sort of 3D effect splits badly. It's got colours that don't work on the car when you're turning. And again, I don't really understand the source of these issues, because GNet emulation holds up just fine for, you know, the more popular games. Especially the slightly broken road effect there. It just looks weird. I don't know what would even be causing that. But this is not one of Taito's better known games. And yeah, she's going to spin out just like a certain game with final and lap in the title. I don't think anybody really remembers this. They've gone for that weird re-rendered. Okay, press pit in and then it automatically pits me in, which is again a very weird mechanic. I've seen new brick games, and I mean, what was that McDonald's Tetris toy they put out a few years ago? That's essentially just a brick game. And HMV had some in stock in the UK record store, just in like their bargain bin of nonsense. I mean, there are even Tetris licensed brick games that Radica puts them out. They're clearly brick games, but they've got Tetris licenses on them. It's a very, very big industry. Yeah, this is a very strange Taito game. I mean, was it even released? I'm guessing it was, but it's definitely not one many people remember. So I just don't understand why the emulation is glitchy. Unless it's glitchy because the game is unfinished, but I don't think that's the case. First. Okay, I will accept first. Oh, I guess it's first because there's only one cabinet. It's meant to be a linked-up game. Not first because I did any good. I beat the other player who doesn't exist. I think that's what that's telling me. Let's go to the USA. So yeah, this is probably one that's really only meant to be played as part of a linked-up setup. Hence position 1 of 1. Without the other players, there's not much game here. So, no cows either, from the looks of it. So, strictly a linked experience, unless all you want to do is sort of beat your own time. So yeah, I don't. Why would the sprite colours go weird like that? The palette's bad. Is it a timing issue? Like, is it drawing the wrong frames with the wrong palettes? That's a possibility, I guess, if there's meant to be some sort of sprite buffering and palettes out of sync. That wouldn't explain the line on the horizon. Well, not even quite the horizon. Quite close to your car, in fact. Also, just having a hit button like that puts you into autopilot is so strange. Yeah, Continental Circuits is a far better game. Taito did have some bad racing games. I know the more famous ones are well loved, but yeah, they weren't all great. And this has potential. It's just very much lacking in content. 4 tracks and well, no meaningful single-player mode, really. It doesn't seem to matter how many other cars I overtake, it's not keeping track, it's just telling me I'm in first position because there aren't any other humans. It doesn't handle that badly. Yes, it's a bit easier to keep on the track than in final lap. Timer extended. I want to load the other. I'm still in first position against nobody. Just go on the road, off the road a bit. Nope, that's not very good. So yeah, this is the American track with the sharper corners. They're not as sharp as they look on the map. I was expecting 90-degree turns like in Cisco Heat. Speaking of bad racing games. I mean, I think the colour issues happen on the computer cars too. Maybe it really is timing. Anyway, out of time, finish first. I don't know if there's a number of laps I could complete to not just run out of time and get first. Yeah, out of sync palette would be possible. It's about the only thing I can think of. But again, I don't know why the road effect would be broken, because that definitely looked weird. Unless there's something custom cabinet and there's meant to be a line on the cabinet for some reason, but it's not. It's not an in-car view, so I don't know why you do that. But you see what I mean? It's just a weird split all the time. It does not look like it belongs there. But anyway, this was Racing Beat. A world set, apparently. Not even a Japanese set. Anyway, I don't know. An odd one. Not one of the more remembered parts of Taito's history. Okay. Let's throw on something super obscure. Let's go with the Gundam RX-78 and Space Enemy by Bandai. So yeah, I'm sure you were all waiting for this one. Some of these RX-78 games do work, some don't. I don't know if they're all emulation issues or if some of them are ROM issues. I mean, there's like one of them that just crashes as soon as you take off. And this is Space Enemy, which is just a case of a bit. Seems like a very simple crosshair shooter. I'm not sure there's anything more to it than this. So we can shoot some space enemies down. I'm only aware of the directional keys and firing, and it's not. You don't even have 8 directional movement. So I did say we're going quite primitive. And it just seems to be on a timer as well. Your timer's counting down there. Again, this is maybe not a system that most people are going to be aware of. But there has been some emulation of late, the last few years, and some ROM dumps turning up. And say some of them work, some of them don't work. Some of the games are playable. None are spectacular, as you'd expect kind of from a pretty much, I don't want to say failed system, but a system that was never really super popular. Yeah, the movement's quite smooth. There's not much game here. It's just aim and blast. But that's fine for a little bit of play. Don't think I've played this on stream before, so why not? Yeah, I think by the sounds of it, everything's been a bit better from a technical point of view this time. Bitrate, audio. So it's kind of difficult to always gauge. No, I'm missing all these shots. Evening, Carlo. I mean, you have joined us fairly near the end because I was going to do a 2-hour stream and we are kind of approaching that, but always good to see you. I hope you're doing well. You're currently playing an RX-78 game. And so we get to the next phase. That's not game over. This is, say, Space Enemy. Very generic title for well, a fairly generic space shooter, if we're honest. Hey, if you had your RX-78 Gundam computer, maybe you would have been wanting to play this. I say I don't think there are any more controls. I don't think it needs any because, I mean, it's not really doing much apart from giving me targets to shoot and counting them. While also counting down, I'm seeing lives. Yeah, it seems every time I get hit, that number counts down. Unless there's meant to be a shield button so that it can block shots, because I don't seem to have any way of stopping that counter decreasing, other than shooting the enemies before they get to shoot me. Looks a bit like Warp 1. Yeah, that was a few years ago, the arcade game. You're a right cozy guy. Very early crosshair shooter. Well, Warp 1 is. I don't know if this is quite so early. But this is obviously a home game, not an arcade game. So the difference in technology and release dates is significant. You didn't really get home games like arcade games early on. They were always quite a bit further behind the curve. I will play until I run out of lives. The game decides it doesn't want to play for some other reason. Yeah. 277's out. Alright, well, I recommend going to grab it then. I still don't think the driver's driver's eyes things in there. I think that's still in limbo PR wise, and I don't think any of the Model 2C stuff is in there either, because I know there was that video showing House of the Dead, but I don't think that was even submitted. So some stuff you might be interested in is definitely not in that release, but there's general improvements. It does not have the new sound engine, which is going in for the release after this. The current main build I'm using here does. I mean, I can open up a menu and there's like things like, do I want to enable reverb? I don't know if it's actually going to work though. I'm not really going to try it randomly on stream. But yeah, there's a new sound engine going on after that release, but the 277 release doesn't have that. But it should be a fairly solid release. Some of the plug and play stuff I've shown, like that Bandai Mask Rider, Kamen Rider one, is in there. Mod is not working, but as I showed, you can play it just using up, left, and right equivalent keys. Yeah, this is quite simple. The patterns are getting a bit more advanced. I mean, these enemies are moving more quickly, more challenging to shoot. But they're not really damaging me though, so well, that might down. No, those don't. They're not shots. But the enemies can go off the screen. There's not anything shooting me, so I don't stand a chance of dying at this point. It's unusual game design. You would have thought, you know, it would start firing more and more bullets at me and giving me less and less of a chance, but this phase just seems remarkably easy. So, anyway. I played Mystic Warriors on the previous stream, but I definitely didn't get to the end. I know the title screen looks correct now on it. I've even got more health now. Right, okay, I think we're pretty much done with this. Well, the game is a bit too easy for me. I guess I could continue to rack up points, and that's probably the only point in this is to beat your best scores. But yeah, I don't want to be sitting shooting targets with a crosshair for too much longer. I think it's getting a bit dull. Yeah, it's too easy. You're right, Aussie guy. And maybe there's a difficulty mode setting, but that setting is, well, I mean, as it was, that was just yeah, far too easy. Let's put on a game that doesn't quite run at full speed most of the time, but that's because we're on 90 MHz ARM, and sometimes it's full speed. We're back to ELF, everybody's favourite. Yeah, Warp 1's better. Warp 1 challenges you. So this is weird. The times it slows down are when the screen is fading, but that's because it doesn't have a palette. It has to write new colours to the entire bitmap when the screen is fading, and that obviously requires quite a lot of CPU time. So yeah, the most demanding operations the game is doing in terms of the host ARM CPU are the screen fades. Don't quite use that as quite loud. Finding the right volume level for these is always tricky, because the QDSP emulation is kind of off. BnB Arcade. Oh, it's got a bit of slowdown, but as I say, it's mostly just between scenes. Like it will slow down now while it's fading, and slow down now while it's fading up. But then as soon as it's faded up, it's fine. Because, I say, it can't idle skip when it's fading because the CPU is fully utilised. So, yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's a Bomberman clone. You put the enemies in balloons and you pop them as if it was Bubble. And it's nice and colourful in this Lego brick world. I wonder if this is going to get me content matched as Minecraft. Because every time I play anything that looks remotely like Minecraft, like it's got blocks of Lego structures, YouTube seems to think it's Minecraft. It did it for Gallico's target hits. So that's Minecraft. And there we go, player 1 win. Bit slow down during the fade, but wise. You're fine. And the enemies don't kill you. And themselves don't. Then you've got this weird thing with the cannons firing at the bottom on their own. I don't know, it's a strange mix of Bomberman. The cannons will fire them and then they will explode, and you have to be careful of those two. The enemies seem quite stupid, and I got bubbled. I still won. There's more to avoid than your standard Bomberman, and it does introduce the elements fairly early on, and that was stupid of me. And I appreciate that. Now I lose. Have to continue? Yeah, I'll continue. You can walk through the bushes like that and be slightly invisible. Some nice touches here. I'm guessing it's based on a non-arcade game, probably a PC game in Korea or something like that, because it specifically calls it BnB Arcade. But I've not played any other version of this. Those enemies kill you if they attack you. You'll see where the balloons are, even under the trees. A little UFO thing here. Let me see. So you can still see where the balloons are. Water balloons. There we go. But yeah, it's just the times it doesn't idle skip that it slows down. Ideally, MAME would have an ARM recompiler and then it'd be absolutely fine. But MAME does not have a recompiler for ARM software, so yeah, it's just they're going to have those small slowdowns for now. And yeah, the music emulation could do with some work too. Oh, this level even scrolls. Oh, and yeah, there's a river there that a river of water going down the road that can get you. Yes, Atom, another stream, but unfortunately, it is also pretty much the end of this stream because I said I was going to do 2 hours, and we have just passed the 2 hour mark now. So yes, hello, and also I'm probably going to be saying goodbye for now again. But you know, you can rewind and have a look at the catch up if you want. Yeah, the archive will be up. I don't think we've had really any major technical issues this time either, so I'm not going to be having to unlist and re-upload a better copy. I think this copy can stay straight up. But yes, nothing else essential on my list now. There were a few more games I was considering looking at, but I'm getting a little bit tired. We've done 2 hours. We've covered a fair variety of things across different platforms, and I've kind of enjoyed doing it and feel a bit more comfortable again with the setup and how everything is. So once again, thank you to everybody who's been here, and it's been a nice little chat. I mean, I'm sorry if I missed any comments or anything like that. I've tried to answer questions where possible. I know maybe not all the answers are what people want to hear when it comes to things like when's this going to be emulated, when's that going to be emulated, but quite often the honest answer is if nobody's working on it, the answer is never until somebody starts to work on it, and that requires somebody to be interested. Anyway, yes, thank you everybody, and I don't know when the next one will be, but say the setup obviously is working again now and properly configured, and unless OBS decides to lose it all again or Windows does something silly, it should be good to go for when I want to. So yeah, take care everybody, good night, and I will hopefully see you all soon.